Hello everybody in YouTube land and welcome to the deck intro for a challenge run with Daniel and I that should be a good time in theory. Daniel, this was actually your idea for a run, so I'll let you kind of just pitch it to everybody with what we got going on here.
We've been kicking this idea around for quite some time, actually, to run a two-player Carson Sinclair run. And when I pitched it to you, you said, well, I'm playing Silas because I like Silas. But I think it's kind of a fun idea. The idea is that this Carson deck that you'll see in a second is really just here to run a pure support. I'm not running the Runic Axe. I'm not running some big gun. It's really just kind of as he looks on the tin, I don't do anything. I just am here to support my friend. But in two-player, that seems like it's kind of hard, even though the math sort of seems like in two-player you're getting the most like actions from nowhere out of it, right? If I give you an action in two-player, now we suddenly have 7 actions this round, which is a big increase over just giving an extra action in, say, 4-player. The problem is that what does Carson do with the other 3 actions? So let's find out.
Yeah, so I think this will be an interesting run. It does put a lot of pressure on, like, the idea of the Silas deck, of, like, how is Silas going to be able to get all of this done? Because it's, like, not the intention that Carson is, like, never going to take a test or never going to, like, try to discover clues, never going to try to advance the game state. But the idea is how supportive can this Carson be in 2 players without it being like a detriment? So it's kind of like a challenge, kind of a thought experiment. But you can see there's a lot of good cards in this deck, right? So like in theory, a good investigator bringing good cards, we shouldn't really feel like that's lacking in this environment. We're also crazy people, and we decided to do this through the Forgotten Age. Return to Forgotten Age. So it's like a little bit easier in some ways. It's funnily enough a little bit harder in the enemy department, which hopefully shouldn't be a problem, right? Hopefully not.
And you know us, we've never had a problem doing a challenge run of Forgotten Age before.
No, yeah, it's not so. I mean, it's one of those things where like I've had like my best challenge run in the Forgotten Age with the skills only challenge, and then my worst challenge run in the Forgotten Age with the Yithian, from the Hunters of the Mythos. So it's one of those things where or hopefully I would like to land right in the middle, right? Where like it's not smooth sailing, but like we struggle, but we also win, and it would be really nice. Because Carson is kind of the main guy for this, why don't you talk about your deck first and kind of the thoughts going into it?
Sure. So we're running kind of light on assets here just because I don't want to, again, run weapons or investigation tools. Not that the Guardians really have those in the asset department, but yeah, we're trying to do like testless stuff in general, but the assets here are all supportive. Obsidian Bracelet is really good for all of those inevitable times that we fail treacheries. Things like poison, all that can be soaked onto the Obsidian Bracelet. And I'm trying to keep us as close together as possible for that and for Tetsuo Mori. So we have the safeguards to help with that. Eventually, the Hunter's Armors get upgraded so we can take even more and potentially maybe deal damage back or draw more cards with Hex Drinker. I think for Carson's weakness, where you just get hit every now and then for horror that you can't avoid and it shuffles back in anyway, you need an extra place to put that potential horror, because the dude only has 6/6. He's not a chunky boy, so we have to have some extra soak.
Yep.
A lot of events here and a lot of skills, which is going to be a lot of fun. We are using some Chapter 2 cards just to round things out, I think. Practice makes perfect last, since we'll look at the skills, but Restrained is a neat card. So this one, if you're not familiar, you get to chain an enemy to a radiator, and then you just go about your business. Now, this card in particular says you have to, for the extra benefit, attach it to a humanoid. And you know what there's a lot of in this campaign? There's a lot of humanoids. Those snake people are, in fact, people. So we should get some mileage out of that, especially when it comes to the return to the Forgotten Age. Vengeful Serpents, those are the ones that stay in play, but then go into the victory display and all that. they're kind of tricky because you want to draw them all first before you actually kill them. And this will help us potentially just leave one on the board without having to bring them back and forth from the victory display. So
yeah, like permanently removing 33% of them is very big for like future headaches that those guys commonly cause.
you just need to get attacked by one of them. None of the enemies in Forgotten Age, the non-elites anyways, do that much damage.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Just take 1 and 1. Don't get bothered ever again. We have Stand Together as economy. We have Thorough Inquiry as economy. And then the last 2 cards you see here on the screen, Scene of the Crime and Working a Hunch, are really just for getting clues. So I'd like to contribute mostly in the department of clues. And I think these cards are testless and pretty reasonable in rate. So let's make them work.
Yep.
Okay. Practice makes perfect. There's 12 skills here. All of them are practiced.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So if you don't hit, we're gonna call FFG and complain.
Part of the reason to run Seeker, I think, is just because for Carson is because his signatures are practiced and they're really good. So my job is not just to support with, I don't know, soaking and maybe getting a few clues and giving you some resources, but to make sure your hand is full and maybe get closer to finding those weapons that actually do something. So this, As You Wish, I think is really nice because if the test succeeds, which would be a test that you take, you get to draw another card. If it fails, then I get to draw a card and hopefully help you out on the next one. Adapt and Overcome, I think you recently have talked about as being like a nice tech card for Forgotten Age.
Yep.
Well, here it is. It allows us to ignore, alert, and retaliate. So if that Harbinger of Volusia shows up, we might just be committing this to an attack or evasion.
Man, it would be nice if it didn't show up. If they're just like, we just get like the 1 in 300 million chance of it randomly generating. You know what? The Harbinger's just not in this campaign. Thank you. That'd be really nice. Thank you.
The nice part is we only have to attack, I think, the
4
Harbinger
times.
4 times, right?
Yeah, like do an evade and then take it out. It's one of those things in 2-player kind of becomes a priority.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot easier if you do that.
Yeah, Deduction, Perception, Vicious Blow. You know those cards probably. You've played this game before. And then Well Dressed is probably just tech for Ichitaka, but also pretty decent in Threads of Fate for some parlays. Yeah. After that, I don't know. I mean, if there's some other practice skill I can't remember off the top of my head to replace it with, I'll do that. Otherwise, I can drop to some other event or...
I mean, leadership's very good. Leadership.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. That's Travis would want me to say that. All right, so the Carson deck is actually pretty straightforward. This looks like a Carson deck that you would see people bring to anybody, but the real problem was how do we build a Silas deck? And we went through a few iterations, and this is what we kind of fell onto. This Silas deck is, I want to say, very conflicted. And you're going to look at it and be like, this deck is kind of doing a lot of things. And the answer to that is yes, this deck is doing a lot of things. Because I need to fight, and I need to get clues. I need to get less clues than I need to fight, but clues are kind of the priority. Where if you can get clues, you'll have to draw less enemies, which means you'll have to fight less enemies. So it's one of those things that in the early game, when our decks are weaker, I have to lean harder on clues, but in the late game, in theory, hopefully, I can lean more on damage when damage becomes more of a necessity. So as you can see here, luckily I have the Sea Change Harpoon, and my net is some enemy management, and I also have the Nautical Charts and the Fire Axe. My hand slots are very contested. It's basically like what comes first, and hopefully we get there. In a perfect world, I'd love to draw the Nautical Charts and the Harpoon. That would make me a very happy boy, but... is that going to happen? We'll have to see. But the Nautical Charts are here in level 0 to just give us a consistent way to get clues and turn any extra cards that we have in our hand into deductions, which would be very nice. We have Lawrence Carlisle here in the level 0 deck, but he's going to pretty quickly turn into Granny Orn, as you can see by this official Arkham build annotation that we have here. And I think that's actually going to be my priority upgrade. Mostly just having half a Lucky, I think, is going to help us a lot more in the second scenario than it seems like it would. We have a fun little combo here. It's hiding underneath Daniel right now, but we have Loner to go with Safeguard over here.
Oh, yeah.
So that means that during my turn, I can use Loner to move to a connecting location, and then Carson can come with the Safeguard, meaning that we get a double action move without spending any actions, right? I think this is a really cool thing. Works really well in 2-player. Honestly, expect this in like every 2-player deck that you ever play. If one person has Guardian, one person has Survivor, it's just like too free. It's like the freest that it could ever be.
Yeah, it is a little trickier in Forgotten Age when you get the moves off of the Explorers, but you know what? It'll still work. It'll still get us some value.
Yeah. It's a Justin deck, so of course I took in the thick of it. I have 2 physical trauma because I'm Silas Marsh, and it would be crazy to do mental trauma at this point. You might be asking, does this make it more likely for me to bring blankets? Probably not. I'm still probably not going to bring blankets as my supply here and just go into the final scenario with 4 physical damage on me. But that's why we have Carson. Soak, not soak. Right? Like, that's kind of the thought process.
Hunter's Armor could be soak, too.
Oh, I meant Safeguard. Yeah, we have soak,
Safeguard,
yeah, and then Safeguard's not soak. But you can see 6 of the 8 assets are eventually going to help both of us live, which is really nice.
I think you forgot about the level 4 Safeguard that has 2/2 soak on it. And
honestly, that's coming out in the next set, right? I saw the release files. I can't wait for that.
There we go.
All right, now we go to my events, which are there's only 3 of them. I have Look What I Found and Lucky. The Look What I Founds will probably get taken out as we get further in, but as I mentioned, this is kind of where in the starting thing, clues are more important, especially in Untamed Wilds and Doom of Etzli, because those scenarios ask so much of you from like the back half of the scenario, so it's good to have like a nice start. We're also trying out some Chapter 2 cards. We have Glassing here. This one might be a little bit tricky to figure out, but it does let me investigate with my foot, which I think is worth a shot here. Especially in, I think this is going to be less good in Untamed Wilds, but I think Doom of Etzli, this card, is actually going to be kind of alright. And I'm excited to see it in action.
I'm curious, too, because it has, like, again, like a lot of the traps, I don't know how much you've played with them yet, they really require you to think about, like, what's going to happen 2 rounds from now.
Yeah.
And putting down, I'm just imagining here, and it may happen, it may not, we'll find out. Like, let's say you evade the boa constrictor, and then you drop the glassing on the next location that you go to, and then the boa comes in, and maybe like you've left already, you leave a clue or 2. I think that's like pretty interesting. Like, it's an all right idea.
Yep. No, I'm excited to see, and hopefully it works out. But if not, it has insane icons. Like, the traps, they kind of just do. Then we have a bunch of skills, because I'm Silas Marsh, and it wouldn't be a skill deck without it. The Resourceful is hiding down here, so just that's Resourceful. I would not run Resourceful, especially because in my long-term plans, I'm getting Brute Force, right? I have this 1-up Sharp Vision that I probably won't upgrade into more of. I think the 1-up is kind of just okay. The 2 Unrelentings are my last 2 XP from the In the Thick of It. I'm Silas. We have to play Unrelenting. He's in the art. He's dancing with a deep one. It just works really well. And then we have some Chapter 2 card with Timely Intervention, and then Overpower, Perception, Long Shot for extra damage, Inquiring Mind mostly to help with Ishtaka. That's kind of like we want to line up on a location where there's going to be a clue, which will make it a lot easier. Because the reality is, if we want to talk with her, if I don't have Lawrence Carlisle, we both have 2 book, and it's a 4 test, right? So, like, it's a mountain that we do need to climb. And then, it's just Long Shot and Quick Thinking. So, nice simple stuff here. Not too many weird, unexpected quirks in the skill thing, except for probably a Perception. But, as you can see, my upgrades, I have it kind of thought out. Old Compass, Granny Orin, Lucky, Brute Force, Expeditious Retreat. And then I'm also going to go into the upgraded Timely Intervention, because an extra Lucky is going to kind of be pretty damn good.
Yeah. The biggest challenge, I think, at least in my mind, is this balance between, like, these are all good cards. Like, we've built a deck of things that should do well, but is there going to be this, like, interplay of can we pass tests versus how much are we doing with those tests? Like, are we, like, just passing a single test isn't good enough, or is there enough here where we're able to get ahead on the game, or are we going to be drowning in, I don't know, an onslaught of enemies or something? So,
yes.
Hopefully, I will also upgrade into some stuff to deal with enemies. Maybe Dynamite or something just solves problems. Those 3 health enemies are kind of scary, but
I think
We'll
that's
see.
the big thing. Each turn we're going to be presented with a puzzle, and we just have to play slow and try to figure out the best way to solve it. Not just jam, book these shrouds, and hope we're going to get there, right? Like
Yeah.
how do we best use our resources available to us to solve the problems that the game put out for us. If you're interested in seeing this in action, the first episode, Untamed Wilds, is going to go live on the channel tomorrow, so look forward to that. Any final thoughts, or should we start playing and see how this goes?
If you never see this video,
Yeah,
because
it went so bad. Huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. If you want to support the channel, you can like, comment, subscribe, or if you want to go above and beyond, you can join the Patreon down in the video description. It would make my day. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.